Hi everyone and welcome back to another DayZ video. This time I've selected for you guys 8 out of the best hidden base locations for a solo on Livonia. Of course there are many more locations to explore on this map, but these 8 spots I've highlighted in this video are well suited for those solo players that prefer to build in isolated areas far away from curious players. But before getting to it, don't forget to like and subscribe if this video has been of any help for you. Our first location is the log cabin north side of the bunker. Located on the southwest of the map, this wooden house is well isolated from other villages and towns, but it's very close to the Livonia bunker, which contains the best loot in the game. Being located so close to the bunker could be also a bad feature, as other players that want to go for it might stumble upon this location. Our second location on the list is the yellow 2-story house north of Grabin. Located on the top northeast side of the map, this house is one of the most isolated buildings around, being far from any loot route other players would choose to go for. The building itself is big enough for even more than a solo player, and it's fairly easy to fortify, with only one mention: be careful about the windows, they must be blocked if you don't want any unpleasant surprises. Being close to many spawn locations and also Grabin and Tarno, finding base building supplies won't be a challenge at all, but if you want to get those juicy military gear, you'll have to roam a little bit, as there are no military compounds nearby and the bunker is on the opposite side of the map. Our number 3 base location is also one of my favorites, and in the past I've built bases here on modded servers. The industrial factory east of Grabin is a huge isolated building hidden in the forest on the northeast side of the map. Apart from being close to many spawn locations, it's also close to Grabin and Tarno, which are full of base building supplies as well as many plank piles, which will make building a base here much easier and faster. Close by, you can find many lakes and a river, which will grant you an easy water source as well as a food source by fishing carbs. The main building offers a variety of building options. You can build on the lower side of it, which is the safest and easiest way to fortify the factory, but if you want to build a big base, you can as well take the top side of it and build watchtowers and so on to also have a good defense in case of any possible raids. Be aware of the fact that this location is preferred by many other players, and even though it's quite hidden for those who doesn't know about it, you might stumble upon curious survivors while you will live here. The closest military compound is Borek military base, which is not that close, but it's not that far either. But if you want to explore the bunker, be aware that it's on the opposite side of the map, so prepare yourself for a good run to get there. Our fourth base location is a different one from all the others on this list, simply because it's not about a building to fortify, but instead is about a spot where most people never go, which makes it a wonderful location for hidden tents and hidden stashes. The river west of Topolin is right next to the edge of the map, and since there is nothing to loot around here, most of the players will never come, unless they have the same intention as you, to stash their good loot or create small hidden bases around this area. The river itself is a very good spot to hide barrels and crates under the water, but bushes and vegetation around the river are perfect to hide even small tents or shelters. Like in this case, if you look around here, you'll just see trees and bushes, but in a close look, you'll find this little tent that I have put a camo net on it, and there it is, your perfect hidden spot to stash your loot, and the vegetation around the river is also helpful for this kind of situations. Our fifth base location on the list is the house northwest of Rodzanika military base. For many players, this kind of house is also known as the Mustache House, which is a two-story building with 3 rooms, perfect to fortify, especially for solo players. The position of this house is one of the best on this list as it's quite hidden in the middle of the forest, there are many plank piles close by, and it's also close to Rodzanika military base as well as an Adbor military compound. Bear in mind that this type of building has many windows that you should block in order to avoid unpleasant surprises, and that in case you die, you'll have to run a little bit to get back to it, as it's not that close to any spawn. The sixth base location on our list is the Hunter Cabin southwest of Rzec. This wooden house is probably the least hidden location on this list because it's not that far from a main road and it's also in the middle of many loot routes of this map. But its close distance to many plank piles as well as military bases like Rodzanika and Nadbor make this Hunter Cabin a well-suited base location for those solo players that want to get a base quick and also be well geared as fast as possible. The seventh base location is the house north of Bielawa. Like the one close to Rodzanika, this so-called Mustache House is an easy to fortify building, but with the same piece of advice to bear in mind: block the windows as fast as you can. Being one of the most hidden locations on our list, this house is far from any loot route, but it has a military compound close by and also the airfield not too far. The lake right next to the house is a very good source of food and water, but if you want to get to the Livonia bunker, be prepared for a long journey as it's not that close. And here we are to our last base location on this list. I've kept this one as the last because it's a different spot. We could call it even a unique spot, as it's the only island with a house on it that you can find on the entire map. The island house east of Grabin is definitely a location for those who fancy to build in unique ways. The house itself is quite hard to fortify, but with many plank piles nearby, it might not be such a hard task as it might seem. Being surrounded by water could be a negative point, as you'll have to deal with wet clothes and the sicknesses that can come with it, but it also makes this island house one of the hardest base locations to online raid, as whoever wants to get here will have to swim, being vulnerable to any kind of attacks. And here we are at the end of the video. Please don't hesitate to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and if you have any other base locations you want to share with us, feel free to do it in the comments below. Cheers!